A week on from the government's suspension of live cattle exports to Indonesia, graziers are no closer to knowing when they might resume, especially with animal welfare groups saying there's no quick fix to the shocking abuse of cattle that prompted the ban. The Agriculture Minister Joe Ludwig will meet tomorrow with senior executives from the Meat and Livestock Australia. He says the buck stops there and it's up to the association to compensate beef producers for their losses. The Minister spoke earlier to political editor Chris Ullman.
Joe Ludwig, welcome to 7:30.
Thank you very much.
If you were concerned enough to shut this industry down, how can you be confident that you can resume it in weeks or even months?
The important thing to do here is to get the supply chain assurance in place. I'm confident that with the support of the industry, with the department, and of course the need to get this industry back up and running again, that we can put the supply chain in place. All the constituent elements of that supply chain are there. The industry working group has now been established. They are working diligently at getting that supply chain assurance in place for the live export industry to recommence whilst maintaining animal welfare outcomes.
When you say animal welfare outcomes, what do you mean?
That animals are treated appropriately. No one would expect to see what they saw on the Four Corners show. It was, to me, shocking, to many in the community shocking, and I've got no doubt to you, shocking.
What standards need to be met, though? Because there are different standards. There's an Australian standard, there's an international standard. So which one would satisfy you?
What I'm keen to see is the OIE standard, that is the international standard, and encourage stunning. I think it's important that the industry take that position and encourage stunning. It's a much better way to provide for animal welfare outcomes.
Encourage but not ensure.
To encourage.
So what does that mean, though, that we won't see stunning? We'll see stunning in some abattoirs, not others?
I would expect the industry to take a good lead on this. I would expect them to see stunning as one of the constituent elements. But of course, in the operationalising the OIE guidelines, I would expect the OIE guidelines to be met and encourage stunning.
Are there any abattoirs that meet those standards now?
There are veterinaries of the Department of DAF in Indonesia. I've got reports that some of them may meet that standard. What we do have to do is have a look at each of those abattoirs, find out whether or not they do meet those standards, and if they do, we can start that process. But that's only part of the chain.
How can you not know now whether or not they meet those standards?
It's only part of the chain because, of course, they're in Indonesia. Indonesia's a sovereign country. It's a requirement for us to look at the supply chain all the way through. So it's not only, it's not only the abattoirs themselves. If they meet the OIE guidelines, if they meet and of course encourage stunning, then that's the end point of the supply chain. We also have to ensure that we've got traceability through the supply chain and accountability and independent auditing.
So how long will that take? Can you give us a time frame?
It's up to industry. I've established an industry working group, but let me be clear about this. I've asked them to work as quickly and as hard and as fast as they can because it is important that we do get this